watching at home, unless you've been to a drag race meeting, it's probably hard to imagine just how fast these top fuel dragsters go. Let me try and show you. I'm standing at the start, you're at the finish. That's the quarter mile pass, or 1,320 feet. Give me 1 second, and I'm here, 60 feet down the track. I've travelled 60 feet from the start or from the Christmas tree. In another 2 seconds, I'm here, 660 feet. That's the halfway mark, and already I'm approaching speeds of 400 kilometres per hour. And give me just under another 2 seconds, and I'm here. I've completed the quarter mile pass in around 5 seconds. I've reached speeds of around 475 kilometres an hour, or close to 300 miles per hour. Good ride, hey?
Yeah, it was a good ride and a good idea too, because it really does show you how quickly they come down this trip. Okay, top alcohol, round one coming out. Steve Reed, Jeff Burnett.
Going to be a great pairing here. Steve Reed, Pommy Steve Reed, he's affectionately known as the Red Wing Shoes car, from England, running up against Jeff Burnett. Burnett won the Nationals in 1973 and 74 in funny cars.
Back they come, this massive crowd, blue skies, Calder Park, first time in 8 years. Isn't it good to be back? Bobby Jane, congratulations on the complex. It certainly has done us proud in the sport at the moment. It is a showcase today.
Both drivers creeping towards the staging beams.
Set for a race, so it's Reed and Burnett. Facing off now, a little bit of a creep. Coming up the stage, racing now, both getting away well. Oh, look at Burnett, he gets a little sideways. Can he come back? No, he can't. Oh, but what a run. They both got out of shape, and they just blistered the track.
That was a fantastic race, Darryl. Steve Reed won with a 6.11, but look here on the replay. You see on the green, Burnett's short wheelbase funny car is bouncing around as they're changing gears. The dragster a little bit loose, but there, that's where it's lost.
Is it my imagination, or has that side of the track been doing that today? I've seen a lot of sideways motoring on that side of the racetrack.
Not really, Darryl. The track is fairly even, but the short wheel-based funny cars, like Steve Harker's on the left of screen now, they are affected with any little bit of bump. John Noonan in the dragster has a little bit more flex in the car.
Well, we talk about dancing around there, tap dancing in that lane today. Oh boy, you're really seeing some action here, and this should be another really good matchup. We've got Steve Harker from Greenbank in Queensland, John Noonan also from Queensland. Two banana benders at it. Everyone holding their breath now. Away they go. Nice clean start, both cars. Oh, look at this again. Oh, they've really got the rock and roll happening here, let me tell you. But this time got over the bumps and came home with a big finish. Oh, and still getting out of shape.
What an incredible run. Like the previous one, Steve Harker took the win at 6.18. Again, on the replay, both cars get out of shape. Look at Harker's car. They're coming close to the centre line.
Unbelievable here out of the gate, and they really had a good look at each other, and here's the finish coming up. Oh, and another fast one. We talk about fast cars, they keep coming out. Alan Dobson, he'll take on Stan Tyndall. Western Australia, and a boy from Wild Creek, my neck of the woods on the central coast of New South Wales. Stanley Tyndall, I'm on your side.
Alan Dobson, Australia's fastest fireman. Stan Tyndall, Darryl, was a former world drag racing boat champion. He came out of the boat, he thought terra firma was a better place to be.
I think they breed him strong at Wyong. That's where Mark Scaife, that's his home territory. Pretty quick boys up there, I'll tell you.
They certainly are. Stan Tyndall, Australia's fastest grandfather as well.
Okay, set Dobson and Tyndall. Tyndall with a little move into the stage there. There they go. Getting set, wait for the lights, away they go. And a good even start to Dobson. Dobson at the moment gets the run, and Dobson powers his way over. And the boy from Wyong, I call him a boy with a lot of affection, Stan Tyndall's got to run second.
A 6.10 for Alan Dobson, a great run. Tyndall turned the tyres a little bit off the line. You see the tyre smoke on Tyndall's dragster. Look at Dobbo wrestle that car down the track. That was a great run from both drivers.
Ah, terrific stuff here at Calder Park. We're seeing some fantastic runs here today, no doubt about it. Gary Phillips now, he comes up, he'll match up against Vic Baker. Again, a Brisbane driver up against a New South Wales driver. State of origin stuff here at Calder.
Now, again, we see the funny cars and the dragsters. Top alcohol, unlike the nitro classes, these cars actually have different engine sizes. The Dragster, because it's lighter, a bit more nimble, has a smaller engine. That's to equalise the performance. It's going to be close.
Mick Baker, of course, in the Corvette. Nicely turned out car. Back he comes. The crew sets him up. We look at Gary Phillips, Hillcrest in Brisbane. Rev start to build. Both set and racing now. Back they come. Oh, the Corvette! Oh, the Corvette's come out at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'll tell you, no way in the world, because Gary Phillips, wow, halfway down the track, he planted it and came home in a big rush.
On the replay, look at both the drivers left fairly evenly. Baker appeared on the way to a big upset, and then Phillips, out of shape, got back into it. Baker troubles.
What about the save, though, from Phillips? Got sideways, backed it off, put it down and won. Let's take you now to the NHRA Winter Nationals from Pomona in California. Well, Calder's got a big crowd. Look at the crowd over here, too. This is the final round. You're going to see first up the post stock. Darrell Alderman takes on Scott Gerrion, both Dodge teammates, World 1 and 2 from last year. And, of course, the Winter Nationals, the first event of 19 on the $25 million US Tour. Backing them up now. Have a listen to these.
Dave Hutchins brings him in. Mike Sullivan, the other car. The mainstays of the tiny little Wayne County Speed Shop, and even tinier Fairfield, Illinois. This is it. Final round, pro stock. Opening race of 95. Which driver will stage first? Near lane. Another classic final. Alderman gritting his teeth, and just enough. Jeffrey on move first by a nanosecond. Alderman wins the race.
Here are the funny car finalists backing into place. Cruz Pedregon with Joe Gibbs McDonald backed entry, and the onboard camera with Chuck Etchels in the Kendall GT1 machine.
Etchels, the unknown quantity of the two. On that 512, the run before, they did a lot of engine damage, had to change a lot of parts. Bob Brandt, he just did his usual between rounds maintenance, where they completely field strip the motor and change all 8 pistons. They do that anyway. They didn't break anything. But Tim Richards, he's really had a fight on his hands to get ready for this final round. Should be interesting to watch. Okay, the funny car final round. It is Pedregon in the near lane. This is his 6th consecutive final round appearance, counting the last 5 races of 94. Chuck Etchels over in the other line, thrilled to death to have Tim Richards and Kim LaHaye back on his team. Already the very first race, it's paid huge dividends, but does it have another 512 in it? We're about to find out. Track couldn't be better. Weather, absolutely perfect. Starter buster couch, set to send them on the way once they're fully staged. On board with Etchels. Oh, and sparks out of the bell housing. Clutch smoke. Etchels can't even see where he's going. A mechanical failure. Pedregon wins it. 530 at only 278 miles an hour. He hurt that puppy a bit, too. Clicked it off a bit early as the speed shows. But on the starting line, they are erupting. Who would have thought in his very first race as a funny car runner, Joe Gibbs would be in the winner's circle?
The Top Fuel final is set to go. Eddie Hill and Scott Coletta ready to decide this one, Steve. The last 2 Winston Points champions in Top Fuel set to battle it out. We should have seen this last year.
Absolutely. You know, neither one of these drivers have ever won the Winter Nationals here in Pomona, the second oldest race on the NHRA calendar. Only the U.S. Nationals has any more longevity than this particular race. It's always been here at Pomona, but this $14 million racetrack didn't used to exist. It was temporary grandstands and outhouses and a totally removable facility. Dick LaHaye looking over the Coletta car. He looked over with a little concern at Eddie Hill like, boy, you're back, aren't you? You kind of see it on his face like this guy is no pushover now.
If they weren't thinking that way before this weekend, they're certainly going to be thinking that way after it.
First time Eddie Hill has been in the far lane. Scott Coletta earned lane choice by virtue of his 480 in the semis against Eddie Hill's 489. Look at Hill going to the high speed. Raw fuel. Scott Coletta has lost traction. There's no recovering from that. And Eddie Hill has won his first race in over a year and a half. Eddie, Ursi Hill, Fuzzy Carter, Janet Carter, that whole team. What an uplifting moment this is for them.
He ran a 5:11 reaction time, which was much slower to Coletta's 4:56, but as soon as the tires went up on Calder, Eddie was celebrating. A 4:85 at 299 miles an hour, and he starts celebrating when he hits the speed trap.
Melbourne, we're having fun in the sun down here. Plenty of tyre smoke, lots of fumes to suck up. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching us around Australia. We've seen some great racing.
We have, and it's the first round of Pro Stock eliminated. The factory hot rods on screen at the moment. Tony Wedlock, the number 2 in Australia, against Kim Pennerwood in the Chevy Camaro.
2 Queenslanders turning out now, Wedlock and Pennerwood. Racing, get away to an even start. Look at this side by side. They know how to race, these guys, I'll tell you. Oh, no, quarter ask and none given, and Wedlock gets it. What a beauty, a ripper race.
A fantastic run. We see an even lead from both the drivers. Wedlock moved out to the left. He was shifting through that 5-speed transmission, and he takes a slight win with an 8:07.
Pretty close stuff. Okay, let's hope we can keep it going. Peter Ridgway now, the Victorian, comes out against Wayne Daly from New South Wales. This is a Pontiac and a Ford Thunderbird.
This is going to be a great matchup. Peter Ridgway ran the first ever 7-second time in Pro Stock. Wayne Daly has also run into the 7s.
Who do you like, the Pontiac or the Thunderbird?
My money's on Peter Ridgway in the Pontiac.
Okay, Victoria taking on New South Wales. Here's Ridgway, and away they go. Wow, good start, both cars out nice and clean. Have a look at this, coming back from a long way back. I don't know if he's going to do it. Oh, only by half a car length. Did he miss out, though?
Boy, Peter Ridgway was lucky there, a slow reaction time. He lost a 1/10 and a half at the start line. Here he is at the finish. He's got a car length.
Oh, just about it too, wasn't it? So now we've got Robert Quattrocchia. Comes out against Bruce Leakey from Queanbeyan in New South Wales. One's a Chevy Beretta and the other one's an Oldsmobile.
Now, Bruce Leak is the reigning Australian champion in Pro Stock. This Oldsmobile, a beautiful car, and runs fantastically well.
Quattrocchi and the Chevy Beretta. Unusual cars here in Australia, not names that we're familiar with, but certainly familiar with in drag racing circles.
Quattrocchi from South Australia in the yellow Terra lane. Bruce Leak in the Valvoline lane.
All set now. Quattrocchi taking on Leak. Big crowd waiting in anticipation. The Pro Stockers have been great. Both get a big leap out off the lights now. Look at this. Coming up side by side. Great match up here. Oh, only in the last 50 metres does he do it.
That's a huge upset, Darryl. Quattrocchi has gone through to the next round of racing. The big crowd looking on, and here comes Quattrocchi. He looked good all the way down the track.
Get your own word, will you?
It was, though. The Australian champions out in the first round.
Was a huge run. Okay, next matchup.
Hans Van Dyke. Here he is, the old stager himself. 3 times Australian Nationals champion. Now, he's going to have a hard job ahead of him here because here's Bruno Cognetto in the Oldsmobile. Bruno ran Australia's quickest time ever in qualifying, 7:90. Hans is on the bump. He only went 8.10.
What about Bruno's car? Isn't that beautifully turned out? That's one of the stunners. A Holden Oldsmobile Cutlets. That's how they're going to come out to you. Cognetto is in the Oldsmobile, and of course Van Dyke in the Holden. Beautiful paint job. Can he do the job and get on the track? Here they go. The Holden comes back. Ah, never mind, coming back. The Holden says, catch me if you can, and he can't.
One person you don't let have a go, and that's Hans Van Dyke. He's through to the next round.
A happy chappy. Also trackside now. Andrew Voss talking tyres.
Well, of course, a pretty important component at any drag race meeting has to be the tyres for all classes, all categories. Jim Reed is with me. Jim, how many runs out of a set of tyres would you get?
On average, about 6. That'll depend, though. If you go out there and you're on about your 3rd lap,
and you smoke the things pretty hard on the run, well, generally it fries them up a little bit, and you're a bit reluctant to take a chance with them after that. But on average, around 6 to 7 laps.
Has there been a time, if you're really looking for that quick pass, that you might change a little bit more frequently than that?
If we were going out into a final, we might put a new set of tyres on if these are done maybe 4 laps. We won't risk it. But in general, you'll get 6 laps out of them.
What about dollars and cents?
Yeah, that plays a big part. They're about $1,000 to $1,200 Australian a pair. And like I said, you can fry them in one run and you've got to throw them away, so you try and take good care of them.
Tell you what, take good care of them. Jimmy, you're kidding. Look at this. No regard for the rubber at all. Just smokes it up. Bruce Barnett aboard the Harley. Hey, now we're talking turkey here today. The big bikes come out, and I tell you what, how brave are these fellas. Bruce Barnett takes on Gavin Spann.
Gavin Spann aboard the bike, which used to run in Pro Stock bike, now running nitrous oxide.
Suzuki takes on the Harley. The Harley looks like it's got the legs. Suzuki comes back now with a big rush. Can the Harley hang on? I'm not sure about that. Oh, he only just got it, I'll tell you now. The Western Australian just got him.
A fantastic run, all won and lost on the start line, Darryl, because Barnett has actually gone slower than Spann.
Beautifully out of the box, but didn't the Suzuki come home? There it is. Look at that. Nothing in that at all. Okay, Peter Allen out against Steve Smith. The Victorian taking on the Brisbane rider. Again, a Harley up against a Kawasaki. Oh, I like the pit crew.
The pit crew is fantastic. Steve Smith, a great job. This blown Harley has a supercharger on it. At one stage was the fastest Harley in the world. Pommy Peter Allen, 6-time Nationals winner. He's a veteran of the sport and a legend.
All righty, the legends, away they go. Oh, what about the start? You talk about being scared on these things. Did you see that? Oh, he hung on to it, gathered it up, and at least got to the end. I tell you what, I bet his hair's the same colour as mine.
It really would have been a white knuckle ride. Have a look at Smith on the left of the screen, side to side, the bike bucking around. But Pommy Pete, look at him on the right-hand side, all the way through the finish line, a great run, and he ran 314 kilometres per hour.
Unbelievable stuff. Mark Getty now. He comes out on a Harley, and Scott Commons also on a Harley. Para Hills from South Australia taking on the Victorian.
Now, these guys are actually teammates from the Excessive Force team in South Australia. There's Commons on screen at the moment. Beautiful Harley Davidson. Mark Getty was at one stage Australia's quickest.
Gotta say too that this team, really, they spend a lot of money in motorcycles. They're involved with the Roaring Sporties series, and they put a 2-bike series in that too, so congratulations, because it's a big effort to run so many bikes. All set up now, away they go. Better start this time. Oh, but no contest. Both Harleys now, he might come back, but no, sir. Mark Getty from South Australia just blew him away. What a ride.
A fantastic ride. In fact, Getty went 7.26 seconds for the quarter mile, 297 kilometres per hour. That's brilliant.
No doubt about that. It was brilliant. Phil Howard now from South Australia aboard a Howard. Kerry Ellis from Queensland on a Kawasaki.
Howard, another one of the riders of the Excessive Force team. Here's Ellis. This is a turbocharged machine, a little bit different. Howard took his first ride on this bike 2 days ago.
So Howard, she should be pretty brave. First ride, and here you are, Calder against some of the best competition in Australia, if not the best. Away they go now. Oh, look at Howard. He's only just learned to ride it. What's he going to be like when he gets used to it?
Brilliant. A 6.81 for the quarter mile. That is sensational.
The bikes are good. And Howard, oh, he won it by a street. Okay, interesting now, the top doors slammer final. We've got John Zappia and Brendan McSweeney. Now, this has been a demonstration here today, and boy, oh boy, they have been great. The Western Australia take on another Western Australia. It's the HQ Monaro and the Ford EB.
Brendan McSweeney's Ford on screen at the moment, a small block Ford, a 350. He's been running 6-second times. John Zappia. Boy, look at Zapp's rat from Perth.
Smokes him up in the crowd. Oh, they light up too. And have a look how far down the track he's gone.
If there's a rival to the burnouts in Australia of Victor Bray, it's John Zappia.
What a beauty, Zappia. Big crowd here, 55,000 people. And I tell you, they haven't been here for 8 years, the Winfield series. And the Victorians have turned out well done. Okay, Zappia, McSweeney. This is the top door slammer. This is the final, a big shootout. Away they go, nice clean start. Oh, what about the sideways? You've got to race in your own lane. Now he's on the grass, he brings it back. Oh, some great driving there. I tell you what, we might make light-hearted of that sort of stuff, but that was pretty hairy.
They were hanging out all over the place. John Zappia has done the lawn mowing. Look at the line. McSweeney's red-lighted. He's gone straight to the centre line. Zappia's come to kiss doors. Oh, it's a swan song.
You don't get any closer than that, but look at this now on the grass with that much horsepower. He drives it back onto the circuit again, and that's marvellous stuff. Well, what about the action? You're seeing it right around Australia. Stay with us because the big boys are yet to play.
Comfortable seat. It's in the Motorcraft funny car of Jim and Darren Calder. Now I say comfortable with a few hesitations because when you're out on the track you're looking at an elapsed time of say around 5.5 seconds. You reach speeds of over 400 kilometres per hour. Now compare this funny car to a top fueler. The top fueler of course has the engine behind them, so all the problems are happening back there. In the funny car, the only thing between the driver and the engine is a protective guard. Occasionally things can go wrong. And I'd rather leave it to the experts like Jim and Darren.
Andrew Voss really getting involved there. Great report from inside the funny car, and a lot of funny car action coming away very shortly. Now, within the drag racing circles, one competition that's very important. It's a competition built within the major competition, and it's called the Wind Shootout. Now, this will happen right throughout the year of 1995. Today, we're going to show you 1, 2 and 3 rounds of this fantastic shootout. What we've done here is turn the clock back to Willowbank.
Darren DeFilippo on screen, the True Flow Source car, qualified extremely well at Willowbank, as did Jim Reed.
Have a look at Jimmy Reed at Willowbank. He loves the place, he loves the atmosphere, and he loves the speed. Beautiful run from Jimmy Reed. Now we come back to Eastern Creek.
And this is where the forefather, Graham Cowan, in the Rocket Industries Shell car, really turned it on and qualified well for the Wind Shootout.
Yeah, have a look at this run. Sticks in the mine. This one, watch it leave. How about that? Just fires and leaps out of the blocks. And what about that for a run from Cowan? Let's bring you up to date now with the point score of the Wind Shootout. After 2 rounds, Graham Cowan leads with 330 points from Robin Kirby on 320. Jimmy Reed back on 315. Darren DeFilippo on 305. All have qualified for Calder, and we're back there now.
The #1 qualifier, Graham Cowan, now taking on Darren DeFilippo.
Cowan comes out smoking. Have a look at this. He's just powered away from DeFilippo. And I don't know about you, but that time there to me, 4.9. What a boomer.
Sensational run, the second quickest ever in Australia. Look at Cowan's rocket shell car go. It left the line beautifully, Darryl, burning magnificently. 8 cylinders.
No doubt about that. Almost history in the making. This man is unbelievable when he unleashes the power. Second quickest run ever.
Jim Reed now is going to take on Robin Kirby in the second of the Wind's Top Fuel Shootout rounds.
Robin Kirby up against Jimmy Reed. They've just seen Cowan. Have a look at this now. Reed lets it go. And Reed, he'll do it. And that looks like a Cowan-Reed shootout. That's what we want to see. And plenty of smoke coming out of the Winfield car.
May have nicked up a couple of pistons there, but you see Jimmy Reed smoking the tyres, turning the tyres black, tracking all of the way down the track. You can see it right there.
Oh, big run, wasn't it? Plenty of rubber right down the track. Okay, interesting matchup again here. Rochelle Splatt, just back in Australia, disappointing earlier. Away they go. She takes on Brad Simpson. This looks like a better run. Oh, what about this? Oh, what about that? That's the best run tonight. No doubt about it. Rochelle Splatt, that's better stuff from her.
2 young kids, Brad Simpson and Rochelle Splatt. Watch them. They leave the line. The flames leap into the air over the tips of the wings. Rochelle on the right-hand side, Brad Simpson on the left. Look at the cars move around a lot.
Marvellous run there and nothing in it.
Nothing in it whatsoever. Glenn Micra's on screen at the moment, also qualifying here. Running up alongside Tom Hoover.
Tom Hoover, the big American, and he is a big boy, let me tell you. When Micra said they go, done these things look great at night. Have a look at the flames coming out of Hoover's car. Oh, he just smoked it down there. Gets plenty of sideways movement as he's trying to pull it up. He's got a bit of trouble. Now he gets back in a straight line. What about these things at night?
They look sensational. Mike is on and off the throttle when he smoked the tyres. Look at Hoover move around at half-track, side to side. Smoked the engine, a 507.
You don't think you've got to drive them? Have a look at that and ride with them. Oh, boy. They're getting some angles here at Calder. Tommy Hoover brings it back online, and that was a wild ride.
This is the final of the Wins Top Fuel Shootout. Darryl, $4,000 up for grabs. Graham Cowan and Jim Reed.
Graham Cowan, he's been sensational tonight. Jimmy Reed, they both go. Cowan, oh, the lights have gone out for Jimmy Reed, and Cowan backs off and he'll get the $4,000. Oh, that is a fizzer. That is a fizzer, and look at the oil that's gone all over the track.
And Graham Cowan's a very happy man. He's leading the series at 505 points. Jim Reed is second on 470. Robin Kirby and Tom Hoover are in third with 445. Darren DeFilippo, Glenn Micas, Rochelle Splatt and Brad Simpson round out the point score.
Round one of the funny cars, the best pairings with these two, Keith Agus and Peter Russo. Chevy Beretta takes on the Dodge Daytona.
Keith Agus, of course, this is his first year in the funny cars, Darryl. He was a former Nationals winner in Top Fuel. This Oz Nitro car looking to get into the fires for the first time.
Yeah, terrifically turned out this, and what a beautiful setup this car is. Keith Agus comes out in the Chevy Beretta, and look at him smoke him up. The crowd love him. They love him.
Melbourne's the home of the Nitro funny cars. Here's the working class hero himself, Peter Russo, 3 times Australian champion.
Peter Russo burns them up pretty well too, and the crowd really, if they were going to sleep, they've certainly woken up again. Agus now backs it up. Have a look at the rubber on these cars.
Absolutely huge, the rubber on these cars. The Goodyear Eagles need a lot of rubber there to put the power down to the ground. 5,500 horsepower, short wheelbase car, Darryl, very wild.
Beretta, Chevy takes on the Daytona. Dodge. Should be a battle. Agus, Russo, away they go. Agus comes out well. Russo comes back. Oh, he can't get Agus. Agus just powers his way home. He just drove him into the ground.
We've just seen history, the first side-by-side 5-second funny car race. Peter Russo was quicker, but he got defeated, would you believe?
The first of the semi-finals now. Romeo Capitanio will make a single run here. Beautifully turned out machine. Away he goes, does it nicely, and he keeps the hammer down too, because time, very, very important.
A great run of 5.56 at 425 kilometres per hour.
Out they come now for the second of the semi-finals. Darren Carter, Keith Agus. That's how they line up. There's Agus now. He lights them up. Goes a long way down the track to back up. Darren Carter comes out. Now this is the car that Andrew Voss sat in a little while ago on the show. Oh, I bet he's pumped up and he's not driving it now, so it should be a good shootout. Darren Carter taking on Keith Agus.
Now, these two guys are rookies. We said earlier that Agus is first year of funny cars. This is Darren Carter's first meeting. He's in his dad's car.
Okay, you know what happens when kids borrow their dad's car? Let's hope that doesn't happen. Agus takes on Carter. Away they go now. Agus gets a terrific start. Carter comes back. Oh, look at Carter come back. Oh, no, big fire. Agus has got on fire, and the car flaming there. He comes across. Oh, what about that? This is a terrible accident here. Agus has gone up the track. Carter's pulled up. Agus still on the grass. The car burning. Oh, no, you hate to see this. And have a look at Agus. He's still in the car. He's okay. He's okay as he starts to move around now. In they come the fire marshals. It took them some time, and everything's under control now. Well, Keith Agus, he's still burning, let me tell you. Have a look at his foot. There's still plenty of glowing flame down there. Now they come across and spray him down. You can't believe anyone can survive that.
It's a funny car driver's worst nightmare. Fire, Keith, they just had a huge fireball. The body there is a smouldering wreck.
Carnage all over the track here. Marshals, everybody doing a terrific job. You don't expect an accident as big as this, even with the experience of these very fast cars. Have a look what's left of the chassis.
Even the fire on the side of the track. It's a total fire ban day here in Melbourne. But it's amazing. Let's look at the replay. Look at Age's car. All of a sudden, it just ignites for a second, then bang, it's in a ball of flame. Oil hits the headers. There it goes.
Imagine sitting in that. Now he's still trying to control the car. Now he loses control, hits Darren Calder, and I cannot believe the explosion there. Now, as you can see, Calder's gone off to one side on the grass. Here we come down here with Aegis now. The grass is starting to burn under his feet. Landrew Voss caught up with him, and I'll tell you what, we were very lucky that they got out of this one.
Feel a bump, mate, huh? Big time, my head's throbbing. Hey, I'm all right. He's all right. He's all right. Okay. I just come down to see Keith out.
Okay. What's your name?
Darren.
All right, Darren, I'm Darren. How you feeling, mate?
Good.
Ready to shake it up?
I'm fine. I come down to see Keith.
No pressure, all right. How you feeling?
Good.
Good, all right.
That's big headache.
Darren, what did you see, mate?
Well,
First
I remember
time?
I was going across the finish line, pulled the parachutes, everyone was fine, and all of a sudden the car just took off to the left and the body come off, and I'm going over hills and bumps, and I just couldn't believe didn't know what was going on.
What an introduction to funny car racing.
Mate, my first meeting and this has happened, I can't believe it.
Hard to understand the two drivers going over to each other now, the emotion of a moment like this. This is what sport's about, let me tell you. You heard the ambulance men for yourself. Keith Aegis still shaken.
What on earth happened?
I really don't know. I'm all right. Been in fires before. Dave, my partner here, I love him like a brother. This bloke looks after me, and I think the clutch let go. I don't know. It just hurt me feet. And I've been in a fire before. The last time I had a full pass, I got burnt in Adelaide, you know.
Keith, can you believe when you see this carnage around you that you're both standing here? Darren and you are standing here as if nothing's happened almost.
Yeah, they're pretty safe cars. All I know is that Dave and I, the sort of the youngest blokes doing it in Oz Nitro, don't have sponsorship, and this is going to kill us. It'll kill us in the sport, and look how big the sport is, because no one seems to want to sponsor cars like ourselves, and this sort of a deal costs 50, 60 grand, blow up like this, and Dave and I...
Well, how do you feel when you look at that?
Heartbroken. Heartbroken.
Get the chin up, thanks, Ted.
The park, everybody, well, getting their senses back after that spectacular accident here. But now we go into the semi-finals of Top Fuel. Brad Simpson, Graham Cowan. Simpson from New South Wales and Cowan from Five Dock in New South Wales. Both cars are owned by Graham Cowan. You're looking at a total investment here of around, I would think, $300,000.
Be fairly close to the mark. Graham Cowan, the forefather of drag racing. There he is there. Big job this weekend to put Brad Simpson in his second car. That's a huge commitment. But Cowan and the Rocket Industries Shell team want to come out and win this event.
You do like that word. Cowan now backs it up. White helmet. You'll see Simpson in a darker colour helmet. It's almost like a claret colour. But look at the way these cars are turned out. They are a credit to them, to Shell, to the Rocket Industries, to Dulux, Snap-on, all of the people who have put them together. I mean, this man is an absolute genius in these cars. And there's Brad Simpson there. You see in the darker colour. Well, what's happened here?
There's a problem. There's a problem right at the moment. Gary Evans, the crew chief on Graham Cowan's car, playing with the front end. This is a major drama.
Well, it was totally locked up there. You could see that it was twisted right around.
It's all over. Cowan's out of the car. And how would young Brad Simpson be feeling? The heart would be in the mouth. He's through to the final.
Wow. Well, you would not believe it. Graham Cowan's front end just fell apart as he backed it up. Better still, I guess, there than halfway down the chute at the end of the chute. Okay, Brad Simpson now will still make the pass, but this will put him through to the final.
Simpson looking good in his first ever meeting, through to the final of the Nationals in Top Fuel.
Well, you can imagine Graham Cowan, he'd be happy to see him go, but the kid wouldn't want to do it on his own. He does it, just shuts it down very quickly, saving the car for the final. That's sensible. And, oh, boy, what a disaster for Cowan's team. Well, he's got one car in, I guess.
That's all he was ever going to have in. Now it's Jim Reed, the 10-time Nationals winner, on screen at the moment. We can see the yellow wing on the car. He's changed wings between rounds. He's got Glenn Micah's triple element wing for more downforce to stop the car smoking the tyres on the run. He's going to run up against Tom Hoover.
Well, both of, we talk about team cars. We just saw the two Cowan cars. Now they come out the two Winfield cars.
Tom Hoover had great success last week in the US. Here comes Jim Reed now. Nice, strong, solid burnout.
So Reed has changed the configuration of the car. You can see the other wing he's put on it. You saw that enormous smoke out, the burnout he got coming off the line the first time round here. So he's decided that wasn't the way to go. Change the configuration of the car. Tom Hoover, he's pretty happy with his setup.
Been running 520s, qualified with a 507 to Tom Hoover. He's going to be hoping he can go through to the final round. And unlike last week in the US, he wants to take the win this time, not a semi-final, a runner-up spot.
So Hoover taking on Reed. Amazing situation at Calder. The two team cars of both the leading companies here, the teams, out facing each other at Calder. You can see the slightly different wheels and setup they have here. But Hoover taking on Reed. Here we go. These things just are fantastic. Away they go. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hoover goes like a blur out of the box. He shuts it down, and Jimmy Reed, he's had a miserable time here at Calder Park.
Reed's pulling off. Hoover's taken a great win. He's through to the final to face Brad Simpson. Jim Reed, the car just stopped.
Tommy Hoover, fresh from success in the United States. Let's hear from the man.
Tom, not the way he wanted to go through. Teammate Jim Reed left at the start.
I don't know what happened to him. I said, Jim, come on, make this thing run. So, yeah, a lot of the car's parts are his too, like Graham's, and we both share some stuff. But I'm sorry, I had trouble. I don't know what happened to him.
Bit of work for you to do too, heading into the final.
Yeah, we're tired. Been here all night, so we'll see what happens.
Good luck.
Okay, mate.
Calder under lights. What a sight. What a racetrack this is. What a complex it is.
Magnificent, with 55,000 people looking on, Darrell. And it's the semi-finals of top alcohol as we see Gary Phillips, the top qualifier. He's going to run up against Steve Harker in the funny car.
Harker comes out there, he lights him up there. I always like this matchup, you know, the dragster taking on the funny car. I mean, to a lot of people at home, they probably don't understand how this happens.
Well, it all gets down to weight brakes and engine sizes. The dragster is a lighter car. Therefore, it uses a smaller engine, equalises the performance against the funny car with the bigger engine. The funny car's heavier. When they get down to the bottom end, they should be side by side.
Doesn't always happen that way. Who do you like this time round?
Well, Steve Harker's doing good things with this McGee-powered funny car, but I'm going for Phillips. We saw the team cars just before, but Gary Phillips works full-time for Harker.
Okay, plenty of family matchups here, team matchups anyway. It's the dragster taking on the funny car. Away they go. They both get away nicely. Funny car gets a bit out of shape now. It comes back. But it's the dragster that gets it. Gary Phillips takes the money. But I tell you what, that was a great drive from Steve Harker. He got out of shape, backed it off, and planted it again.
That was a great race between the two. Let's look at the replay. Look at Gary Phillips's dragster, though, in the left lane. It left the line, little bit out of shape. Around quarter track, sparks start appearing out the back of the car. Harker's still bouncing. Not quite sure what happened. Gary Phillips, a 609 for the win.
Cool, dodgy run, let me tell you. This time, Steve Reed, Alan Dobson, you see him coming out now in the Oldsmobile. He'll take on Steve Reed in the dragster. Beautifully prepared car, this one. And I've got to say to Castrol, what an effort they put into motor racing. What an effort he puts into a burnout. Have a look at the smoke coming off that in the crowd come up. But Castrol, you know, they pour money into all forms of motorsport, every division. Congratulations, big effort.
It is a huge effort. Alan Dobson hates burning oil in the car. He loves burning rubber. A great burnout from the Castrol Olds car. Steve Reed, of course, won the title back in '92. Bearing in mind the reigning champion of this event, Aussie Steve Reed, failed to qualify. That's why we haven't seen him today.
Confused at home, I am. Aussie Steve Reed, Aussie Steve Reed. Out they come, Dobson. Oh dear. So again, we've got this terrific matchup with the Oldsmobile funny car taking on the dragster.
Again, the performances are equalised by the rules. Dobson making sure plenty of temperature.
All set. Dobson's pretty hard to beat. Can he do it at Calder? Away they go. Nice even start again. Oh, look at Dobson. But I think he's going to get run down. Never mind thinking about it. He's been run down big time there. Oh, Steve Reed just came from behind and said, see you later, son.
A good win for Aussie, Pommy Steve Reed. Nice, clean, straight down the quarter mile. A 6:07 at 365 kilometres per hour.
Well, we're certainly seeing some big-time action here at Calder Park. And, of course, there's a lot more coming your way. Buckle up, Australia. Stay with us. A lot more to come your way. Wherever you're watching us right around Australia, there's been a fantastic racing day and night here at Calder Park. Out they come now, the Top Fuel motorcycles. Phil Howard on board the Howard takes on Bruce Barnett aboard the Harley. That's the Harley you're looking at now. I've got to put the money on the hog.
You might be a bit biased there, Darryl, but this is going to be a great race. Bruce Barnett, a little bit up against it here because the Kawasaki's have more power, but this guy's run very, very quick.
Lights it up now. I reckon these fellas are fantastic. How brave are they to sit on these machines at the speed they pull? Phil Howard, he's been in sensational touch.
Magnificent job in the first round, ran 6:81. The first ever time he got on the bike, he ran 6:67 for a licence run. Let's see if he can get into the 6-second zone here.
Well, we said when he got used to it, he'd be really quick. And he's getting used to it more and more. He loves this motorcycle. Phil Howard aboard the Howard. That's what you're looking at there against Bruce Barnett from Bayswater, West Australia. Howard from South Australia. The Harley takes on the Howard. Here we go. Visors down. Should be a fantastic matchup, this one. Howard and Barnett. Howard in the red and white colours, nearest to camera. And away they go. What about the speed off the box? And look at this side by side. The Harley's just in front of the moment. He might get him. Oh, look at Howard come home. What about Howard coming home? Oh, he trailed halfway down, maybe 3/4 of the way down the track and finally got the money. What a run.
It was a fantastic run, but Howard nearly lost it on the start. Look at the replay, the left lane. Howard on the Kawasaki leaves the line. Look at the bike get out of shape. He's lucky to be on it.
Well, I said how brave they are. And see the language from the body. They really do have to ride these things.
Pulling the bikes back with torque, the sparks as the pipes and feet hit the ground with Barnett. That was a great race from both those guys.
Unbelievable stuff. And have a look at Howard coming home. He's like a speedway rider. He just throws his body over the top and keeps the wrist wide open. Well, Peter Allen, Mark Getty, they've certainly got something to make up here. The Victorian takes on the South Australian. Again, a Kawasaki taking on a Harley.
Tommy Peter Allen on screen at the moment, the Pennzoil Party Time motorcycle, and it's a party time for this guy with 700 horsepower right between the legs.
Well, you just saw it working. Out come the pit crew again. They've been pretty popular. Wow. Mark Getty.
The Harley Davidson, he's run extremely well, ran 7:26 in the first round. That's going to be ultra competitive right here. We might see the Harley get up this time and knock the Kawasaki off.
Allen and Getty, Kawasaki against the Harley. There's the Harley, the Kawasaki is the yellow bike. Watch them light it up. I just don't know how they do it. I mean, I've ridden a motorcycle all my life, but I tell you what, it would be a buzz down here.
Huge crowd looking on here at Calder Park Raceway. 55,000 people, and the atmosphere is fantastic.
Well, it's been terrific. I mean, the racing right throughout the day and into the night has just been sensational. And the bikes, well, they have been incredible. Here we go. Peter Allen, Mark Getty, Kawasaki taking on the Harley, nearest to camera. Away they go. Away they get away easy. Oh, no. Look at the Kawasaki. Away he goes. The Peter hanging out the back, and he just says, oh, bye-bye. The Japper got the money.
A fantastic run for Peter Allen, a 7:01. He's nearly broken into the sixes. Look at the replay again. Big puff of smoke as they left the line. The Kawasaki looks great. Look at the Harley getting out of shape.
Well, you talk about riding them. I mean, there he had to get it back into shape. Now he gets going, but of course, too late because Allen has just gone. The horse has bolted. Well, the 700 horses are bolted. Pro Stocks now, the first of the semi-finals.
Robert Quattrocchi in the left-hand lane, going to take on Hans Van Dyke, the only Australian body car in the field, the Holden Commodore.
Quattrocchi and Van Dyke in the Holden, and of course the Holden really gave it some mumbo here a little earlier in the competition up against the Chevy Beretta.
The Valvoline Beretta of Quattrocchi and Pacifico ran 8.000 in the qualifying, nearly broke into the sevens. Will they do it now?
Quattrocchi closest to the camera now in the Beretta, the Holden of Van Dyke. Wow, it was quick earlier here, and this should be a pretty good matchup. The Holden against the Chevy Beretta. This crowd gone quite away. They go. Terrific start. The Holden gets the money early. The Beretta comes back. Look at the Holden now. He's just holding on. But what about the Beretta coming home? I'm not sure who got that. I think Van Dyke.
The computer says it was Van Dyke, but if we go to the numbers, it was actually a dead heat. The computer has decided it by the millionth of a second, would you believe?
Well, have a look at this because it's very difficult at this speed to get a line on the a finish line anyway, but they virtually came across locked together. Only the computer could split them.
Hans Van Dyke left 1/1000th of a second slower than Quattrocchi. He got there 1,000th quicker. Brilliant race.
Don't get much better than that. That's about as close. Peter Ridgway comes, yes, it is Peter Ridgway, comes out in the Pontiac from Tony Wedlock, the Toowoomba driver in the Pontiac Trans Am. So two Pontiacs front the line this time round.
Ridgway driving the Grand Prix, a smaller version car. This car, the Texas race engine car, the first into the 7-second range. Tony Wedlock, the #2 rated driver in Australia the last 3 years.
What about the paint job on this car? Absolutely stunning.
Wedlock from Toowoomba has supported every round of Pro Stock in Australia for the last 5 years. Great commitment.
The red and black car looks stunning, doesn't it? But then Ridgway's car looks pretty good too. Let's see how they go. Away they go. Ridgway and Wedlock. Ridgway at the moment. Wedlock tries to come back, but Ridgway just drives him away, and Ridgway takes it.
A sensational run, an 8.001 second time, 272 kilometres per hour. Ridgway through to the final for his first time ever in Pro Stock.
Well, the Pro Stockers aren't hanging about here at Calder Park. Have a look at the angles these cars are getting down here. They're just putting the boot in and just driving out of trouble.
The factory hot rods, 5-speed transmissions, carburetted small block V8s, a great race to the finish line.
Well, if that's only a taste of the action, we've got the big finals coming your way. See you soon. At Calder Park, what a sight under lights it is. Now here's a terrific matchup. Romeo Capitanio is taking on Darren Carter, and there's Capitanio lighting him up here for the crowd, but wait till Darren Carter comes out. This is the man involved in that fiery accident. He got shunted from behind by Keith Agus, and it's one of the worst accidents I've ever seen. Well, both crews, Agus's crew, Carter's crew, have done their best to repair the car. Can you believe this after what you saw?
A magnificent achievement. Carter's tried to do the burnout, not successful, but what about the Motorcraft Ford Probe team and the Aegis team? Boy, they've done a great job. Romeo Capitanio seems a little bit forgotten, but he's driven so well this weekend. Look at the work.
Oh, that's an amazing job. That is an incredible job. That car was an absolute mess. You saw the carnage laying all over the track, and they've repaired it. Both crews got together, pooled their bits and pieces and their time and their tools, and they've actually got it to the line. And the crew, what do you say? I mean, that's the heart and soul of motor racing as far as I'm concerned.
The guys are fierce rivals on the racetrack, but when it comes time to helping out the class, they're all in together. There's problems. Darren Carter's out of the car. The dream's all over. The first meeting's gone.
Well, Darren Carter, everybody in Australia watching this, dips their lid here. Capitanio takes off. You can't blame him. He just blasts his way down the track. Terrific run, but your heart goes out to Darren Carter. But Romeo Capitanio, he takes the cash here.
A great run, a 5:48. That would have been tough to beat at 432 kilometres an hour. That would have been hard.
What about this meeting? They just keep coming out, don't they? This is the top alcohol final. Steve Reed and Gary Phillips. What a good matchup. Two dragsters.
All the funny cars have gone in top alcohol. It's left to these two. Gary Phillips, 2 times Australian champion, hasn't won top alcohol in the Nationals yet. Pommy Steve Reed, the Red Wing Shoes car. Got to tell you, Darryl, the Nationals in top alcohol has only ever been won by Steve Reed. Either Aussie Steve or Pommy Steve Reed. Will the tradition continue?
Okay, it's like State of Origin here. The Blues taking on the Maroons. Queensland taking on New South Wales. Steve Reed from New South Wales. Gary Phillips, of course, from Queensland. Brisbane boy.
Phillips top qualified, ran Australia's quickest ever top alcohol run, 5.901 seconds. Reed qualified on his last attempt, last-ditch effort. Will it be a fairy tale ending here for him?
We'll soon see as they back him up. Top alcohol final. This crowd has been mesmerised with the racing that we've seen here today and right into the evening. Over the weekend, it has just been one of the great drag meetings in Australia. And Victoria, congratulations, 55,000 out, in fact over 80,000 over the weekend. All set now for the top alcohol final. Away they go. Oh, again, gets out of shape. The fire goes out and Steve Reed just powers down the line. Not the way he wanted to win it, but that's a win anyway.
Gary Phillips left the big red cherry, and I tell you what, he's just let Pommy Steve get away with a win. He's ecstatic, the Red Wing Shoes car. Watch here on the replay. Big red light for Gary Phillips. Here comes Pommy Steve. Phillips knows he's done it. He's turned the car off already. Fire out the plugs there. Boom! Supercharger gone. That's a lucky win, but a win.
A win's a win, no doubt about that, and he won't deny that. Pro Stocks, they have been great. Ridgeway from Victoria takes on Van Dyke from Victoria. Ridgeway in the blue and white car, Van Dyke in the white Holden. It has been super hot tonight.
Been sensational, Pro Stock. These are the Group A touring cars of drag racing. Ridgeway running the Pontiac. Van Dyke is the crowd favourite here. The crowd are going berserk for the Holden.
Ah, yeah, the Aussie Holden hasn't done a job tonight. For Hans Van Dyke from Victoria, and of course Peter Ridgeway in that blue and white Pontiac, it's been sensational too. This should be, I reckon, one of the best matchups we've seen this year so far. Well, here they come now, the Holden and the Pontiac. Van Dyke taking on Ridgeway. Set, listen to the revs, they'll start to build. Pro Stock final, what a class that's been here at Calder. In the stage now, here we go. Both get away pretty well. Ridgeway has the run at the moment. Van Dyke comes back, but I think it's going to be Ridgeway. Oh, the Holden comes out at him, but the Pontiac gets it, and I reckon he only got it by a bumper bar.
That was sensational, close racing all of the way down, but Peter Ridgeway has claimed his first win, a 7.99. Go to the replay, even lead. Looking at the numbers, though, Van Dyke got nearly 1/10 of a second, and the power of the Pontiac was needed to take him through.
The Holden started to power about here. He tried to come back at him, but he just couldn't make up the time. And the Pro Stockers, haven't they done a job? I said a bumper bar, I'll make it a bonnet. All right, looks down at Calder Park, still more to come. What a sight, what a meeting. Crowd, nobody's left. Look at them jam-packed here at Calder. Beautiful conditions and the Top Fuel final coming out. Tommy Hoover from the US of A takes on Brad Simpson from New South Wales. Simpson can't believe he's here.
Like Darren Carter in the funny cars, this is Brad Simpson's first ever meeting.
Isn't it amazing? We see the red Winfield car come out. It's the number 2 car. And, of course, the Rocket Machine normally Graham Cowan. That's his number 2 car. So the 2 number 2s, the old wily veteran takes on the young gun.
You expect to see Jimmy Reed and Graham Cowan, but it's come to this. Tom Hoover and Brad Simpson. Now this is going to be interesting. Brad Simpson ran 5:18 in qualifying. Tom Hoover ran 5:07, so it could be very good.
Hoover in Arizona just a week ago in a funny car with some success.
Went to the final of funny car, was defeated by John Force. He's won 5 national events on the US Tour. He's a top runner.
Tommy Hoover backs it up. As we've said, the number 2 cars and drivers, well, I'm not sure they're number 2 drivers in the case of Simpson, certainly, but Reed's just a superstar here in Australia. But Hoover's got the cash and put the Winfield car into the final. Nobody's left here.
No one is left, and you can be guaranteed here, Darrell, that these cars, although the number 2 chassis maybe, the number 2 drivers for the teams, they'll have the number 1 mechanicals.
The word we have is Tom Hoover has got Jimmy Reed's engine aboard, so he's been pretty happy with that. He got the number 1 engine slotted in the car. Jimmy Reed said, like, I'll give you the best I've got. You do the job. Graham Cowan has done the best job he can to get Brad Simpson lined up. The kid, okay, they'll come up. This should be a beauty. Hoover, as we said, red hot. He's had plenty of racing over the last couple of weeks. Loves it here in Australia and would love to win this. These things at night are just great. The ground vibrating. Crowd, fingers in the ears. Final stage, away we go. Hoover gets... Oh, Simpson! Look at Simpson get sideways! You don't get any more sideways than that! And Hoover takes it! The American takes it, but Simpson, how do you get out of that? He got totally sideways, giving it to Hoover, but if that's not the hairiest ride for a while, I'll give up.
Let's watch 5,500 horsepower go right up in tyre smoke.
Hoover, of course, watch him shut it down. He takes the event. Andrew Voss talks with Big Tom.
Tom, 5:24, the national title's yours.
I tell you, we put Jimmy's motor in here. It was really a thrill to win it over here in Australia. You got great fans over here. I only wish Jim probably could have been driving and win it. I felt I had it won. I had his motor in there. We took it to the first light. It was a brand new engine. I didn't want to hurt it, and she was flying. And it's been one of the nicest highlights of my career to come over here and meet all the people in Australia and have as much fun as we've had over the last 2 months since Christmas, starting at Willowbank, Eastern Creek, and here. And a lot of fond memories of Melbourne. I'll never forget this night.
And keep you coming back.
I think so. Thank you.
On you, Tom. What about the race face? I mean, the eyes are like dinner plates. Top Fuel Motorcycles now. Phil Howard, Peter Allen. Well, Allen's been sensational on the Kawasaki, and Howard on the Howard has just been electrifying. This should be one of the races of all time. Have a look at him. Smoke it up. Oh, and gets a little bit sideways as he kicks it.
Tommy Peter Allen, the Pennzoil Party Time Machine. They want to party tonight. He wants his first ever 6-second elapsed time. You wouldn't believe, Howard's nearly gone off on the burnout, but he in fact has run 6s all night.
Howard has been unbelievable as we watch Allen back it up with the girls. It's very important they back him up on that rubber. That's the most important thing.
Got to get into the nice hot tracks of Goodyear rubber.
Last race of the night. Top bike. Phil Howard, Peter Allen. Howard and the red and white machine has just been unbelievable. Remember, he's only just stepped on this bike, and he's been the man to chase all day. Allen on the Kawasaki, the yellow bike, Pennzoil bike. That's him there. And as I said, they don't come too much braver than these fellows. All right, set here, should be a beauty. Can Howard pull it off from South Australia over Allen from Victoria?
Howard running the bike that Tommy Peter Allen used to run himself.
Yeah, must be hard for him. Away they go. Good even start. Allen's behind. He's trailing. Can he come back? Oh, look at him. Look at the body language as he gets on the bike there. He had to wrestle the machine. Now he comes over into the lane with Allen. Oh, he's okay, though. He should be able to pull it up. What am I saying? He's okay. You talk about body language. Have a look at that. And the bike says, thanks very much. I've won the race, and I'm ready to go again.
Oh, sensational. Watch it from the start line again. Both of the riders left together. It's a side-by-side 6-second run. We've seen history. Phil Howard, a 6.73. Look at the attitude on those bikes. A 6.95 for the Pom, but that's where it didn't finish.
Well, we've seen some history tonight. Howard, of course, with that run, that win, has taken him into the 200-mile-an-hour run. Now, look at him here as he comes across. You think he's going to pull it up. And remember, he's coming down from 200 mile an hour on the old scale. Just amazing. Now, the bike gets totally sideways. It starts to scrape itself to death. He gets out of it. The bike decides it's going to continue on and have a little victory roll. And that's what it's done there. Comes back up on its wheels, of course. And Andrew Voss caught up with Phil Howard.
Phil, 200 miles an hour, wild ride, big finish.
Yeah, it's good, mate. Other than a little step off. Would have rather got around the corner first, but yeah, spewed all out from about three-quarter track and totally drowned me. I couldn't see a thing, so I went to the end and got on the tyres, and I had no control over the brakes, so I just sort of let it slide down to the tyres, and I was mainly trying to watch out for Peter Allen, you know, make sure I didn't clean up their bike. But I could see the wide of the fence, so I kept my eye on that, and it was sliding, and I just basically let it go. So I see it was going to hit the fence, so I just jumped off it, basically.
Just jumped off it, basically. Talk about being laid back. Phil Howard, you are the most laid-back dude I've seen in a long time. Well, the fireworks go off. They've been running here all weekend at Calder. Hope you've enjoyed the racing. It has been sensational. See you next time round on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Coming up next on 9 Catch Up.
Can be spectacular, hair-raising even. And at Willowbank Raceway in Brisbane last night, it was just that. Queensland pro stock driver Kim Petterwood started off okay in round one of the competition, and then, travelling at 270 kilometres per hour, his vehicle went out of control. Amazingly, Petterwood was able to walk...
For Brisbane